The Ghana Association of Private Employment Agencies says illegal agents are smuggling Ghanaian girls seeking greener pastures in the Gulf region through neighboring Togo and Nigeria. The Employment and Labour Ministry recently banned recruitment agencies from recruiting girls to work in the Gulf region. JoyNews' latest hotline documentary, Gold in the Gulf, highlights girls working long hours and being poorly fed. Some of them are raped and maltreated by their slave masters. Executive Secretary of the Ghana Association of Private Employment Agencies, Dr. Princess Okanse, wants government to strengthen legal agencies operating in that country. In the studio with me shortly will be the acting executive secretary of the Human Trafficking Secretariat. But let's take excerpts of Kwete Nate's report on how these girls are treated.
People do whether we like it or not. And so what the Ghana government has been doing is having this legal channel. But because of this ban, there are people who are taking their workers through Togo, Nigeria, and other places. It's the same thing that's happening in Libya to Italy.
She's coming.
When there's no legal channel, people will take the illegal channels. And that's why all governments make sure that they provide a legal channel for migration. Because the illegal will take over. And then we'll have more problems than we even ever had before. So it's important to strengthen the legal and then eradicate the illegal.
When did this come to your attention? Other agents using illegal route to get these girls out?
The illegal, we have about 52 licensed agencies. Then we have illegal agencies, which are over 300. Because the ban has affected just about everybody, the illegal agents, and I want to make sure I make this very clear, because for a licensed agent, if you take somebody through Nigeria or any other place, your license will be taken away from you. And you pay 25,000 Ghana cedis for that license. So we have a lot to lose by doing the wrong thing. So we cannot do the wrong thing. But the illegals have not paid for any license. There's no accountability, no responsibility. So it's much easier for them to break the laws. So if that person takes the people that they are taking illegally, it's another airport, that's all. For them, it's another airport. But for us, it's a big deal.
And you support the ban that's currently in place?
We, as the Ghana Association for Private Employment Agencies, we petitioned the government due to the national outcry, which we know, being in the business, was coming from the people who are recruited directly into the homes, where we have 90% of the issues that we're having right now. So we petitioned the Minister for Employment and Labour Relations for a complete ban on a direct-to-home. But we've also now petitioned for strengthening of the licensed agencies so that there will always be a legal channel for people to travel so that they wouldn't have to resort to the illegal channels, which continue to create problems for everyone.
Okay, so that was Dr. Princess Okanse, the Executive Director of GAPIA, who wants government to do something about the situation. Let's now take excerpts of Kwete Nate's documentary on these girls.
If you are working there, they will be trying to have sex with you. They will do that and they will kill you again.
At that moment, I was panicking because somebody will come today and maybe they will come and buy him or her away and others.
The depot center is like prison. If you are sick, there's no medicine for you.
A desperate call from a desperate Ghanaian in a foreign land.
They don't allow you to use phone.
She's in a detention camp in Saudi Arabia and wants to be free.
Yeah, papa, you work at your kuni at twice. Who told me cancer? Who baby I walk? That palm chop ya chop with the agents already and me pumping up for Jenso. The Yamo Moapania or Mampenu or Gadia Swaba. Ada Swaba papa. Must stop it Saudi.
bia mo bloke mo bia nya kwa mabiem mo bia nya kwa mabiem mo bia landada obia mo bia mba Saudi is a living hell ahanye.
That's the sound of an enslaved victim we choose to call Sewa. She paints a grim and chilling picture of the horrors female migrant workers endure in the Gulf states. This is just a minute aspect of the nightmare those who fly in search of the Arab dream face. But this reality does not deter the many young girls who are in constant hurry to fly to countries such as Iran, Libya, and Saudi Arabia, trafficked by human trafficking syndicates.
If it is a fasting time, for that time you work until daybreak.
No food.
No food. Even you can work, you can be there sometimes going 2 weeks time, you cannot even bath. They will not give you chance to bath. Even if you eat in the morning, like if you take tea, sometimes maybe this evening time, sometimes afternoon time, they will give you small food. But sometimes evening time, they will not even give you this thing. Like they will give you old, the one they eat and left. They will not give you new one to eat. They are not doing that there.
This is Mariam Aishetu, a returnee from Saudi Arabia. When she sat in a plane en route to Saudi Arabia a year ago, thoughts that ran through her mind were that she was finally going to achieve her dream of a good life. She was promised a lucrative job and many goodies by her agent that will enable her write off all her life struggles.
I was selling a Brunin Katia at Ashama to Tema before I go there.
Does that suggest that you weren't making enough money, so you wanted to go there in order to make more money?
Yes.
What were you promised when, who convinced you that there were better opportunities there?
My friend convinced me that if I go there, I'll make enough of money and I'll come back and be someone in future, because the business that I was doing, it was not decent. It was not good because I was not getting what I want there, and that can lead me to steal, and I don't want to do it.
So when you met the agent who assisted you, what did the agent tell you?
He told me that if I go there, I'll make Ajia and I'll get a lot of money, and I'll not be working. I'll only take care of their children, and then if I need anything, I can do it. If I want any food, that I can cook it myself and eat. That's.
How much did you pay this agent?
Actually, this agent, I paid 5 million before I go.
Very pathetic one. Now, joining me in the studio is Madam Victoria Natsu, who is the Acting Executive Secretary of the Human Trafficking Secretariat at the Gender Ministry. You're welcome on the Pulse.
Thank you very much.
It's very pathetic to come to terms with this news that people are treated like dogs in the Gulf. Has this come to your notice?
Thank you very much, and good afternoon to our viewers. Yes, this has come to our notice. It's been a challenge for a while. The Ministry of Gender, and for that matter, the Human Trafficking Secretariat, in collaboration with other agencies like the Anti-Human Trafficking Unit of the Police Service, Ghana Immigration Service, ILO and the rest, Ghana, IOM, International Justice Mission, we collaborated in several ways to sensitize communities on the dangers of trafficking. I don't know what, well, I won't say I don't know. The issues, I don't want to use this issue of poverty as an excuse, because I'm not sure we, those sitting here, are rich.
Yeah.
We've come from humble beginnings, but we've hard work in the same Ghana. We were able to make it.
Yes.
And I normally say, for parents, whatever you are eating, eat with your children, eat with the family. If it's even stones, you were able to survive. Ghanaian girls today don't want to work, but they want all the beautiful things in the world. So immediately somebody comes to lure them, to deceive them, that there is a program somewhere, there is a job somewhere. Once dollar is mentioned, regardless of the dangers, they want to go. We've done a lot of sensitization. Ghana Immigration Service have established, and then IOM, they've established a unit for sensitization programs, and also how to get to journey to any other country properly in Brong Ahafo. But Brong Ahafo and the surrounding communities are the very places that people even use the desert to travel.
The more.
The more. And you just wonder what the reasons are. Unfortunately for us, we have a country where we have our human rights. Once you are 18 and above, you have the right to travel. All we are saying is travel right. There are various laws, regulations protecting Ghanaian people who want to travel. The Employment and Labor Relations have a labor department that have labor laws that guides the process of traveling. Unfortunately for us, like Okansi said, Ashi Okansi said, the registered ones are doing well in quotes, because sometimes we also heard that some of them who are even registered take on, let's say at the labor department, they are supposed to send about 20 migrants to any of the Gulf states. Some of them will end up sending more than 50 on the same license. So that is equally wrong. But they at least have gotten the license, and we can trace, and when there is difficulty, we could tell you to bring the person back. But the fraudulent recruitment agencies do not have any addresses. And you see phone numbers on the streets, sometimes TV poles, light poles and whatever.
Yes.
And then people will just,
it.
yes, you see people keying these numbers and calling. And I'm told sometimes you get them in the Agbogboshi market and wherever. We attempted tracing some of them, and before you could say Jack, they are gone, because there are no special offices. And this is what we are facing at the moment.
It's quite a difficult situation, but this also looks like mission critical. What is the ministry, how are you dealing with this situation?
Thank you. It's not only the ministry. In fact, one institution cannot work on this menace. It is the various agencies I've mentioned: Ghana Immigration Service, Anti-Human Trafficking, CID, Labor Department, Birth and Death Registry, the Passport Office. In fact, presently we are in a very serious meeting trying to strategize as to how to curb the menace with the national security. And I didn't know what happened before this ban came, because we met the previous time. We were working on the Labor Act and what can be done to stop people from just migrating anyhow. So we're working on that so that at least it can be streamlined. Contracts must come from the Gulf states to Ghana. Let our embassy know that this contract is coming to Ghana. Let the embassy also verify, because sometimes I'm told their names are almost the same. Ali something and something. And if you are not careful, one name can go for virtually everybody. So we want our embassies to actually identify those agencies over there who want to take on children. In fact, it's a long procedure that we are going through to have this thing kept. Then we also are told that people go to Agbogboshi and these 3 children and then get them dresses make them wear some wig or whatever. Then they look like adults. They change their date of birth, and then they are taken in. So we are looking at all those areas. And then with the birth certificate, they are able to get passports. That's why passport office is also part of this, so that holistically we can look at what can be done. And so we are working on those procedures. But it looks like the droves with which they are going, it has made the employment minister to place a ban whilst we work on the various
and interestingly, even as the ban has been placed on the recruitment, we are now told, you just heard Dr. Kanse say that they are now using different routes, in unapproved routes. How do you intend to deal with this?
Well, it's still, okay, unapproved, then it becomes a little difficult. But if it were the Togo border post and the rest, we have our security agencies there. The Ministry of Gender, and then the Child Protection Compact Agreement has trained a whole lot of officers who know how to identify potential victims of trafficking. So if they were using the approved routes, it would have been very easy. Unfortunately, the unapproved routes, I'm also told sometimes our security agencies are able to swoop on them. So let's hope we can. But then I think we'll have to continue, like we are doing today, continue our preventive efforts. The documentary showing, sometimes people don't read, but when they see the kind of pictures being shown on Joy now, my prayer is that people will be sensitive to understand that this is actually happening. Previously, we were going into communities, we got sensitized. They will ask you all the questions. Then at the end of the day, you see them in Accra. Fortunately or unfortunately, now it looks like the perpetrators have realized that the sensitization is enough in the cities.
So they are targeting other places.
The villages, the hinterlands where, like I'm sitting here and talking, nobody will hear me over there. Those are the places I'm told they are going now.
And how do you intend to extend your campaign?
We've been to communities, and we'll still have to go into other communities. It takes a lot of funding and other resources to do that, but we'll not stop.
It looks like a tough thing to achieve, but definitely if we put in much time and resources, it's not something we cannot achieve. I'm sure certainly dealing with this, we would need a short-term, medium-term, and long-term plan. Do you have one?
For the immediate, we have started sensitization on various radio and TV programs already. We have the Blue Day. Last year we celebrated the Blue Day. We were in various communities talking human trafficking. This year, July, we'll be doing same. But then we are also looking at whether to have a national recruitment center where the regulations will be shorter, straight to the point, and once we know what we are supposed to do, it is our hope that people will go through the right channel to have, because sometimes, like I told you earlier, the recruitment agencies, those who are even registered, sometimes are equally guilty. And in the case where they are even not registered, that is where we have the, and most of the issues of trafficking is in the darkness. That's the painful side of the story. You won't get people actually come out to say, yes, I'm recruiting. It is when people like Arimia and others go underground or like waiting at, before you can get a bit of what is happening. But whatever Kwetenate has seen is just a tip of the iceberg. The bulk of them are hiding somewhere.
Wow, that's interesting. But I don't see this amnesty, recalling the girls back home, as the ultimate solution. Of course, we need to also think of how to engage them when they are back. Do you have plans of engaging these girls?
The government, you know, there are various avenues if you want to work. Seriously, in Ghana, if you want to work, there are various avenues. Today, it's not even today, we have the Maslock that individuals apply to and get some small money. In fact, for a young woman, it shouldn't take you more than, let's say, 1,000 Ghana cedis to start some small business. But it looks like people want the kind of flamboyant job, most of them are equally not qualified to even get into a job. So the very basics, when you come, learn a trade, we'll support you to learn a trade, and then start something small on your own. For the extreme poor, we are saying livelihood empowerment, but that is not big enough. At least it can help you to feed for a while, whilst you get into other complementary services to engage in gainful employment, at least for your livelihood.
No, the most heartbreaking part of this conversation is the fact that this phenomenon has been there for quite some time now. Yeah. And most often we see stakeholders, authorities assuring us that something will be done about it. But we don't normally see much being done about. How hopeful are we with this project we are embarking upon?
It's not, it takes two to tango. I will be, all the ministry and the various agencies will go ahead and be talking. We've enacted laws, people have been arrested and prosecuted. It also takes the individual to listen to our message and say, I will not do it. I will not go. These videos have been showing all over. The question is, why are people not listening? Why are people not seeing the challenge we are talking about? So it takes two. We will continue the sensitization, me and you, but then it also takes the community and the people in the community to listen to us whilst we talk. Because now the lady who was saying, "Intima obia mao, intima obia," I'm sure she has heard this message, but decided to say, "Oh, okay, media, no, it won't happen to me." As for me, yes, I am different. I'm sure she heard it, but she decided to go. And that is the major challenge. And like I was telling you, sometimes we have situations where lawyers come over to argue the cases for people who are traveling. That the person has his passport, the person has a visa. Why are you saying she shouldn't travel? And we'll take you to court. Yes.
Would you say your monitoring mechanisms are not strong enough, and that's probably why we are seeing some of these things?
We coordinate. In fact, it's the Employment and Labor Relations Ministry that this actual activity falls under. So they do the monitoring and the rest. But as coordinators of the program, we also see to it that we want to see whether the act, the Human Trafficking Act, is working. We also want to see whether sensitization is going far and wide. And that is why I'm saying we'll have to intensify the effort, because it looks like something else is happening more than just traveling. It looks like people are being, I don't know whether to say hypnotized or whatever. It's getting worse. We are sensitizing the public, yet people still want to travel. And so maybe we should get into the nooks and crannies of the villages especially, where they are very vulnerable, and use different strategies. We've been using some strategies. We must change our strategy to get to them, because now we are thinking, you know, we used to have what we used to call sini. In the evenings when people have gone to work, market, and are back. We want to use those kind of means to see whether we can get to them, like by the fireside sort of, or at their playgrounds, and in the evenings show some of these horrendous stories, and let's see whether people will be affected in a way and say, I will not go, even if you come give me $5,000. So
with this amnesty, we're waiting for the girls themselves to come and say, we want to go home. So then you bring them back home.
The embassy in Riyadh, with the embassy in Ghana, when we met, the agreement was that those who are capable of coming must come on their own.
Okay.
Those who are not capable must register with the embassy, and we'll find ways and means of bringing them back.
Okay.
I also know IOM, International Organization for Migration, has asked that those who are pregnant, children, and then those who are sick, they can take care of them. So that arrangement is happening between the various agencies I've mentioned.
Well, listen to one of the girls. She says that she doesn't even want her dog to be treated the way the domestic workers in the Gulf are being treated. And of course, with this kind of situation, waiting for people to tender in and say, I want to go home and all of that, it means that more suffering for these girls in the interim. So how do you ensure that they are protected even as we wait to bring them back home?
You see, the unfortunate thing, if it were the registered recruitment agencies, then they know where they are and they can be identified and brought back even to the center. But if they are the unlicensed ones, you don't know where the girls are, and they are in homes. And I'm not sure the embassies can go knock on doors to find out whether, and they are not only Ghanaians, I'm told there are other nationals. So the best is to continue announcing this so that those whose relatives even are in Ghana and can have access in terms of communication should inform their relatives that whatever the issues are, go to the embassy, report yourself, and say you want to come back home.
What has the response been so far?
Well, the last time we met, I know the embassy is still collating the numbers. We've not been given the total number that has been registered yet. But I'm told some on their own who have saved some money are also coming by themselves.
And so what message do you want to send across? Because listening to you, even though you've done some education, a lot of people still want to go there.
Yes. Sometimes just the verbal message is not good enough. I was telling you earlier that we've used some strategy, communication strategy, in sensitizing communities. And if it is not working, we are on the drawing board trying to rearrange our communication strategies to see how we can get into the communities. We have spoken and talked a lot in the cities, and we want to get into the villages to do that, because it looks like most of these girls who are being trafficked now, it looks like they are coming from the villages, and then those in our markets, so that we target them and do a lot of sensitization. And I'm saying, because people don't like reading, it is better you show.
Use the visuals.
Yes, so that people will see what is actually happening. And sometimes you should take some of these documentaries and carry them along and let their fellow sisters hear what they have been through, so that the hope is that we'll be able to curb it. And then with the ban on the recruitment to the Gulf states, we'll continue the process of streamlining the laws, so that at least we'll be able to have it streamlined.
All right, many thanks for passing by on the pulse. So you heard her, and she says that they're still doing more. They're not sitting aloof. They're looking at which other ways and strategies they can use in dealing with this situation. It looks like a tough one, but they have all it takes to deal with it.